In this video, I'm going to go into detail about silverrock, which is the warranty company that Carvana uses. We've used their services twice on two different cars that we bought from Carvana. So I'm going to break down the details of what needed to be repaired and replaced with our 2013 Lexus RX 350, and what silverrock covered and what they didn't cover under their 100-day limited warranty, and what that process looks like to get repairs done through silverrock. Hi, I'm Nikki. Welcome to La Paz Bound. So Dawn and I bought our 2013 Lexus RX 350 in late January from Carvana, and it had 90,000 miles on it. And after my trade-in value of $5,200, we ended up financing $14,000. Now, this may sound like a lot for a used car, but if you know about Toyota and Lexus cars, they tend to run forever. So according to Consumer Reports, Lexus, Subaru, and Toyota, they consistently rank as the most reliable vehicles on the market. So we felt confident in getting our older Lexus within our price range with higher miles. Every vehicle at Carvana comes with a complimentary limited warranty. It's valid for 100 days or 4,189 miles, whichever comes first. So you're responsible for the initial inspection cost to see what needs to be repaired or replaced on your car. And we paid $224 for Lexus to do a multi-point inspection on Ron Burgundy. That's what we call our Lexus. You're also responsible for the deductible, which is $100 for in-network auto repair shops or $350 if you choose to use your own mechanic. So Don and I were leery of using an in-network auto shop. We didn't know if we'd get an unbiased assessment of our car if we went with one of silverrock's mechanics. So I can't speak to using any in-network auto shops. With our Mini Cooper, I took the car to my local European mechanic to get it checked out within the first 7 days of ownership. But due to the timing of when we got the Lexus and when I could actually get it to the shop, I wasn't able to get it inspected within that first 7 days of ownership. So when you buy a car from Carvana, you have a 7-day return or exchange period. I have to go over to Lexus of Tampa, which is over near Raymond James Stadium. So that's the plans for this morning. I have a 9:30 appointment. So I took the Lexus to the Lexus dealership in Tampa rather than my own mechanic. And I did this for a couple of reasons. When I bought the Mini Cooper, I was working a job where I had the ability to take time off. But now that I'm a contractor, if I don't work, I don't get paid. So my local mechanic isn't open on Saturdays, nor does he provide a loaner vehicle while the work is being done. The Lexus dealership is open on Saturdays, and I got a loaner vehicle. So what does silverrock cover and what don't they cover? Well, silverrock covers major mechanical and electrical issues. So things like engine, transmission, axles, fuel pumps, alternators, wheel bearings, AC compressors, things like that. And to my surprise, they also cover alignments, which both the Mini Cooper and Ron Burgundy needed. What they don't cover is your normal wear and tear items like your brakes and your tires and your belts, your filters, your oil changes, things that as an owner of a vehicle, you should be repairing and replacing when they wear out. They will also cover your rental car if your vehicle is, quote, disabled. Okay, so let's break down what the Lexus Service Center found wrong with our 2013 Lexus RX 350 and what silverrock covered, and then what Don and I opted to fix out of pocket. So Ron Burgundy had a couple of pretty expensive items that needed to be replaced or repaired. And the major item was the rear differential gasket. That needed to be replaced. The price to replace the gasket was $2,695. Another expensive repair was to replace the lower control arms to the tune of $571, as well as our sway bar end links that needed to be replaced for $290. Our rear struts were leaking, each costing $390 to replace. Our drive belt had dry rot and needed to be replaced, which was $215. And the front brakes, pads, and rotors needed to be replaced. Our front brakes were at 2 millimeters, and they should have been at 10 millimeters. A front brake job was $937. And as I mentioned before, we also needed a wheel alignment, which cost $200. Okay, then there were the less urgent issues. Fuel injector service, $572. Brake fluid flush, which is recommended when you do new brakes, $201. Cooling system and cleaning, $276. Climate control service, $257. The cabin filter was an aftermarket part. To replace it was $110. The air filter was also an aftermarket part, and to replace that was $74. So Lexus identified 13 services that needed to be done on Ron Burgundy, a grand total of $7,700, half of what we financed the car for, and not including that $224 inspection fee and the $350 deductible for using an out-of-service auto shop. I about shit my pants when I saw almost $8,000 needed to repair our vehicle. So I said to our service advisor that I need to see what silverrock will cover before we authorize any repairs. The service advisor, he was familiar with working with silverrock, and he said that he would call them and he would start the claim. Well, that didn't happen with my Mini Cooper and my local mechanic. I had to contact silverrock, and I had to be the go-between. I took Ron Burgundy home, and I waited a few days to find out what silverrock would come back with. Okay, I just got done at the Lexus dealership. They gave me a list of things, and they're going to call silverrock on Monday. Well, we'll call and deal with silverrock, which is fine. That's fine. They'll deal with them next week. He's like, do you want to leave your car now and get a loaner, or do you want to wait until the work is approved and then we'll give you a loaner then? And I said, I'll take the car today. We'll wait, because I wanted to talk about it with Don, and I sent him the report of everything that they found. They want like $7,000 to fix some of these things, and I'm like, yeah. Silverrock must have been as shocked as we were, because they decided to send an inspector out. So I dropped off our Lexus at the dealership again, and I waited a few days for the inspector to come out and for the service advisor to get back with me on what they agreed to fix. So here's what silverrock authorized the dealership to fix. The rear differential gasket, $2,695, and that was a relief to Don and I. That was the most expensive single repair needed, and silverrock agreed to take care of it. The lower control arms, $571. They're going to do that too. The sway bar end links, $291. One rear strut at $390. Silverrock didn't see any evidence of the other one leaking, so they only covered one. Four-wheel alignment, $200. So the total amount of repairs that silverrock was willing to cover came to $4,147. Plus they covered the rental car. So yes, silverrock covers major mechanical items. So that still left about $3,500 of repairs that were still needed. So Don and I decided to take care of the additional rear strut, which was $390. And then we also opted to replace the drive belt that had the dry rot. That was $215. And we decided to replace the pads and rotors for the front brakes, $937. It was about $100 cheaper to have our local mechanic do the brakes, but we wouldn't have been able to get a loaner car. So we opted not to change out the air and the cabin filters. We were fine with the aftermarket parts, nor did we do the cooling and climate services or the fuel injector service. We did still have to pay that $350 deductible for using the out-of-network auto shop. So our total came to $1,892 to fix or replace normal wear and tear items that silverrock wouldn't cover. When you buy a car through Carvana, they do a 150-point inspection. So even with that, you may still be looking at additional repair work needed. So just know that going in with any purchase made on a car through Carvana, especially an older vehicle that is out of its manufacturer warranty. Luckily, they do offer that 100-day limited warranty to cover major mechanical and electrical issues. Silverrock, they are easy to work with, and they have come through for us on 2 different vehicles purchased through Carvana. We love our RX 350 that we purchased through Carvana, and we are very pleased with the repairs that silverrock covered on our vehicle. I hope you found this information helpful. Let me know in the comments if you used silverrock before and what you think of them. Please remember to like and subscribe. Hasta luego, my friends.